Alright, so we are into the single elimination part of the tournament, which means I just need 3.5 games to win here. Now, we're going to look at Druid this game as the new card, right? So Druid sets aside 3 boons, and whenever you play a Druid, you can gain one of those boons and put it into play. So I studied the board for a while, and my natural instincts kicked in. There's Denison to draw, Werewolf draws, Festival gives you plus actions. You can be defended from the mean vampires and werewolves and raiders from the Guardian that's there. But then I looked at Druid and the boons it gave. So one of the boons is non-terminal money. One of the boons is discard a treasure to gain a card costing up to 4. And one of the boons is money and buy. And then I looked at the gardens pile. And then I looked at the Guardian pile, which costs 2 and defends you from attack. So I didn't know how this was going to turn out, and I really had to fight my natural instincts here and not buy Exorcist and open double Druid, looking for a Garden's Rush. Yes, looking for a Garden's Rush. So I had no idea if this was going to beat the Festival Werewolf thing. My opponent seems to be going for that. They've picked up a vampire here. The bat helps with trashing as well. They have an exorcist too, which will get rid of their estates. So the first part of the plan for me, seeing him go for a longer game, is to build up on the druids. I would like to have a druid in play every single turn, mostly because of that Earth's Gift, the one that allows me to gain a card costing up to 4, because that is how I'm going to get gardens. Might be able to buy it like I am here, but not counting on that. I'm counting on the Druid coming together with one of my coppers to be able to get the gardens. His vampire attacks me here, but you know what, when you're playing slug decks like gardens decks, attacks don't really hurt anymore. I was happy with the copper there at that point. So then I sin for my opponent, so he seems to still be going after the longer game with draw and plus buy from the festival and whatever. He has a few druids, which is a bit uncommon for that deck, but here he tips his hand, right? He goes after a gardens. So he's telling me, okay, look, I'm gonna fight you on the gardens. I'm seeing him now fight for the gardens, makes me put a little bit more priority on the gardens there. So here he could have bought another gardens. Instead he goes for a Den of Sin. I didn't consider this at the beginning, but if he has everything set up, he could buy gardens and then use the Exorcist to trash them to get imps. That's not a bad plan for him at all. So I thought that's where he was going with this. He would take like 1 or 2 or 3 gardens away from me, convert them to imps, and have a great deck. So I'm trying to hustle on the gardens here, and with all these druids in my deck, a nice turn looks like still be able to buy a druid, because I can play 2 of these druids as non-terminal money, and then play the last one to discard the copper for the gardens, buy a druid, and just fill up my deck with coppers from the plus buy, because druid comes default with a buy, and the boon just adds on to the buy here. So there you see me pick the non-terminal boons, and I pick the Gardens Given boon, and still have enough money for a druid. So this is what my ideal turn would look like, and I have 3 buys left over. Yes, yes, yes. Pump it with copper. Pump that deck with copper. Let's go. So my opponent has helped me empty the druid pile and the gardens pile a little bit. Again, it would be interesting to see how it does against somebody who dedicates their deck towards the festival werewolf thing. At that point, I would have concentrated on getting some guardians out and having them in play, because man, some of the hexes are irritating, like especially the discarding ones here. Seeing as how I rely on discarding coppers to gain gardens, I don't want to have to deal with that, so I'll happily put a guardian into play. Guardian is also money. If it comes with a druid, I have some money, some buy. You know, we could make things work there. So my initial plan was to go after Druid's Gardens empty the game. But turns out there's a cheap pile further to the left that also gets you points and is thinner than the Guardian pile, the estates. I could just do Druid Gardens Estates. That works too. That works too. So nothing happening for my opponent. He starts buying copper back now. He started the game trashing his estates, converting them to wisps. But now he's buying copper. His bat may have trashed things out from his deck as well, but now he's buying back copper to try to fatten up the gardens. He told me after that he saw the gardens thing too late and tried to pivot back for it when he saw me going for it. So I mean, that's one way to do it. That's generally not a recommended thing to do. Big money strategies do well against this kind of deck because they can score big points like provinces fairly quickly. Engines have a pretty difficult time, like what he was building there, the festival werewolf thing, against this type of rush deck. Like I said, I have no idea how well it fares against this engine. The engine here could be okay. Could be okay against it. I would believe it if somebody says the engine is at least competitive or even better here. Anyways, so I don't think there's much difference to discarding for a copper here or for taking the plus buy. I think I get the same gain either way. Maybe I could have gained an extra estate there, so that's probably a slight inaccuracy, but I feel okay with my position even after my opponent's last turn. So they managed to get two duchies, one off a vampire, one from buying it, as well as an estate and a few coppers, putting their score pretty close to mine. But I've been looking at the number of cards in my deck. I know I'm close to tipping gardens over, and I think I have two more gardens than my opponent. So feel fairly safe. I feel fairly safe with a fatter deck, and I just have a heap of druids. I'll eventually get a fatter deck than him. Eventually it'll happen, and I think it happens on this turn here. We are like, what, 2016 on the points, but after this turn, gardens shoot up and I go to 27-16, and I feel very, very comfortable about my chances now. So picking up the last, not last, but close to the last few estates here, and I am actually going to come out with a win in this game. Amazingly, the Druid Gardens estate thing worked very well. I mean, my opponent did help me to make it finish this quickly, but yeah, there you have it. Game 1, Druid with a Gardens Rush with the right kind of boons. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.